Hi everyone, my name is Jamie Oswalt. Today I wanted to share with you about the leadership styles we saw in the movie Remember the Titans. Coach Boone and Coach Yost both were the coaches that we will discuss their leadership styles. We will also talk about the organizational cultural concerns, emulated leadership styles, and a followership example. Let's start with Coach Boone's leadership styles. I think he had a mix of authoritative and transformational leadership. He was authoritative, very dictating, assertive. It was Coach Boone's way or the highway. And he made sure that everyone knew that it was his team and he was in charge. He was a transformational leader because he was very passionate about the change that he was trying to make with his team and even the town. He was inspiring and encouraging and tried to get everyone on board with his desire for a united team. He was understanding of his followers and how they could best contribute to the group's success. He really knew what the team needed to do in order to fulfill that transformational desire that he had for his football team. Coach Yost had a mix of democratic and also transformational leadership style, which I feel like he kind of piggybacked off of Coach Boone's transformational leadership style. He was democratic as far as he involved his players in discussions, and when he needed to talk to them, he pulled them aside privately to talk to them about whatever the situation was going on at the time, and he didn't embarrass them or yell or act, cause a scene in front of everyone. And he remained calm and collected pretty much throughout the whole movie. I say that he was piggybacking off that transformational leadership of Coach Boone because at first he wasn't really on board, but he eventually followed by supporting Coach Boone and keeping that strong moral compass that we saw throughout the movie. He let Coach Boone take his old position and he took a back seat and supported as his assisting coach. The organizational culture concerns would be segregation, racism, lack of teamwork, and because of all of these things, Coach Boone was a leader aspiring to change these things with that determination and discipline. He knew that racism was a problem for the whole country, not just his football team, and he needed to break those chains in order to build that teamwork, in order to build winners. And the lack of respect for adults on the white players' part was an issue. Gary especially was very disrespectful to Coach Boone when he's calling him names in the beginning, and then when they were about to leave for camp, he was telling Coach Boone how it was going to be. White boys were going to play over here and the black were going to play over here, and Coach Boone certainly set him straight and let him know who was in charge. And Coach Yost helped in this organizational cultural change by teaching the players not to quit. He stayed when he didn't want to. He didn't want to take an assistant coach position, and I don't think he wanted to work for Coach Boone, but he stayed and supported him as head coach, and that was admirable and key, a key part of his old team respecting the leadership of the new team. The leadership that I would emulate would be that transformational leadership that Coach Boone and both Coach Yost displayed. I could go on and on about Coach Boone's just determination and drive and discipline, and Coach Yost had a strong moral compass. He had so much standing up against him, and he stood up for what was right, even when it was hard, especially during the game when the officials were cheating, and he knew that if he said anything or did anything, that he was going to lose his Hall of Fame nominated spot. But he went up and he told that official, "I will go down with you, but there will be no more of this cheating." And I think it was really remarkable that he did that, even though he knew he was going to lose so much. The followership example that I chose was when Gary went off on Ray for not blocking another player. It ties back to earlier in the movie when Coach Boone was trying to get Gary and Julius as the leaders. He was trying to ignite that leadership among the players. Since Gary claimed to be the team captain, he was trying to get them on board with this transformational change, and he knew that he needed their help to get the other players to follow, since the players are who had the other players' ear. And Gary, ended up being a very effective follower, and I think this interaction between them was appropriate and necessary for what it took to get the team to become a united team. Well, we went over the coaches' leadership styles and how important they are in the change and positivity that we saw in the outcome of the movie. We talked about the leadership style that I would like to emulate, and that would be the boldness of Coach Boone, and I just aspire to always be able to stand up for what is right, even when it is hard. And lastly, the followership that I shared, very heartwarming and contagious in a way that Julius and the other Black members on the team could see the white leader of the old team rising up and standing up for, what was right and taking that first step. And it really started to change the attitude of all the players. My favorite part of the movie was when Coach Boone told the team in that last game to make sure they let that other team never forget the night that they played the Titans. And that wasn't because Coach Boone was saying, give them a whooping they'll never forget. No, he wanted everyone to see what he saw. He saw the heart and the unity and the respect that was gained and built in a time that seemed impossible. And the example that they set was just extraordinary. And it was what was needed for a crazy world and time such as that, and even now, and leaving a legacy like they did. Well, that is the conclusion of my briefing, and I appreciate your time for watching and listening.